Welcome to the Jedi Ranger. I'm JohnBurry555, and today I'm continuing my 10th anniversary Star Wars Rebels reviews. Because 10 years ago today, November 4th, back in 2015, Star Wars Rebels Season 2, Episode 6, Brothers of the Broken Horn aired on DisneyXD, and, well, spoilers because Hondo Ohnaka returns. Well, he returned 10 years ago, but you know what I mean. So basically, they don't do too much expository dialogue of why he seems to be by himself. But we know that basically we can infer that the Empire has cracked down on his old crew and all that. And he's still out for himself. He's Hondo, of course. But a big part of this episode is through Hondo, Ezra is able to do some self-reflection because, you know, he is given lots of responsibilities. Jedi training, blaster training, scrubbing carbon scoring off the ghost. So you know how it is. He's a teenager who's kind of like, am I on the path of life I want to? And through his adventure of Hondo, not only does he get some power generators that relates to the Mercy mission that the rebels are trying to get supplies for, which is quite coincidental in a will of the Force moment, if you will. Very plot contrivance, convenience, but come on, the Force is the explanation in Star Wars. But ignoring that, he's given the opportunity to, almost in a way, more his older lifestyle, looking out for himself and all that, and Hondo is intended to be that reflection. Does Hondo have a little bit of a kind streak, of an honorable streak in him? Yeah. I mean, literally, there's a line where he says that he loves it. He's an old Jedi sympathizer. Just ignore the fact that he took both Anakin and Obi-Wan and a bunch of Jedi younglings to steal their lightsabers prisoner at one time. Just ignore that. But at the same time, he talks about one, which probably is Obi-Wan Kenobi says, I had one Jedi who I were friends. At least I think we were friends. Which I honestly just love that line. And honestly, the way to view Hondo in general is he's a selfish person, but for the right cause, he's willing to, for the right cause, for the right person, for the right thing, he's willing to ignore profit temporarily. Temporarily, mind you. And we see this kind of develop in Star Wars Rebels, but ultimately, Hondo's just that fun pirate who is very selfish, but somehow also likes doing the right thing while getting paid for it. That's ultimately, I think, who's Hondo's character is. And while Hondo is portrayed to be a reflection of what Ezra could have been, and I do think if Ezra had stayed living on the streets, had not joined the rebels, it is possible that he could have become kind of a street criminal similar to Hondo, or Aladdin even. Yeah, he's very selfish and looks out for himself, but every now and then he'll do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, kind of deal. But unlike Hondo, I think it would have been easier for Ezra. All that to say, the main thing about this episode, while we can look more into Hondo's character as a whole in Star Wars, as it appears in this episode, he doesn't really do the right thing except for to make money and save his own skin, to not get in trouble. And ultimately, that's the reflection, the lesson that Ezra needed to know that, yep, he's on the right course of his life. He just needed to figure some things out. And for Ezra, he couldn't figure things out just by sitting around doing his normal stuff. He needed a break from that to try something new, to understand, is what he's actually doing, the path his life is actually on, is it worthwhile? And that's ultimately the lesson he learns. And I think ultimately there's also a lesson, because remember, Rebels is intended to be for kids, and definitely older kids. We're not talking about preschool kids after all, but there is definitely that lesson of, a lesson about finding your place in life and things along that nature. And you don't want to be a selfish person who's always looking out for profits, willing to portray yada yada yada. That is ultimately the overarching lesson. But we all know Hondo's greater characterization, so it does kind of muddle that. But come on, we all love Hondo, and we kind of like giving him a good streak, because otherwise we feel bad rooting for a pirate who steals from other people. Also in this episode, Ezra clears his debt with Vizago as well. So that comes out of it, and they probably did that because we need some way to make sure that won't come back to bite Ezra later on, and this was a good episode of doing so. But ultimately, that's what I got to say about this. There's more I can talk about, such as Ezra deciding to call himself Lando. I like it when he calls himself Jabba, it's fun, But regardless, it's always fun seeing the different names Ezra comes with to hide his identity from others. It is just a quite fun thing, in this episode does that. There's a few other things as well we could discuss, two small moments, such as how Chopper decided to set the Phantom's autopilot to go back to the Ghost. I don't know if if Chopper realized or even considered that Hondo was going to betray them, but he did the right thing, because Hondo got caught by the Ghost crew and then tried to bluff his way out. Ezra comes in, oh, Chopper just set the Ghost autopilot to Return Hill. And Hondo's like, yep. He walks away with the credits and leaves the generators for the Ghost crew. Which, interesting. He could have kept the generators and sold them again, but he already got his profit, so now he could do the right thing. That started a little bit of, he will do the right thing if he can get profit out of it, or in some form. But regardless, that's what I got to say. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. And join me next week when I talk about Wings of the Master. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you always.